As we observe Religious Freedom Week, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops is urging the faithful to pray, reflect, and take action on religious liberty here in this country and also abroad. Joining me now on Skype is Archbishop Thomas G. Wenski of the Archdiocese of Miami, acting chairman of the USCCB Committee for Religious Liberty. Your Excellency, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Well, I want to start out by talking about this year's theme for Religious Freedom Week. I know it's for the good of all. Tell us more about the meaning of that message and also its importance.
Well, religious freedom is the basic freedom. If you don't have religious freedom, all other freedoms disappear as well. So when religious freedom is respected, the common good of all people is advanced, and the flourishing of human society is made possible.
I know that you describe religious freedom as being under stress throughout the world. Can you explain what you meant by that? And also, why do you think that is the case, and what can we do to protect it?
Well, I think anybody that's looking at the newspaper or the TV programs can see that religious freedom is under stress in different ways. In the Western democracies, it's under stress, perhaps not as in a violent way as it is, for example, in the Middle East, where religious freedom is under great stress, and Christians, especially Catholics, are being driven out of their homelands because of religious persecution. Here in the United States and in Western democracies, we're subject to perhaps a soft despotism in which our religious freedom is ridiculed and undermined, and efforts are made to try to marginalize us, to remove us from the public square, and to participating, as is our right as citizens of this country.
How do you think this year's observance of Religious Freedom Week is helping to address these challenges?
Well, again, I think we have to raise the consciousness of our Catholic people to help them understand that religious freedom is our first freedom. And here in the United States, Catholics, we should have an appreciation of this, because thanks to the First Amendment, thanks to the healthy secularity of our constitutional order, Catholics have been able to prosper in the United States, despite the fact that for many, many years, Catholics were viewed with great suspicion by the majority Protestant population. And despite that suspicion, because of the First Amendment, we were able to build our schools, our parishes, our hospitals, our orphanages, and to really take our place in the civil life of this country. Catholics participated in the armed services. We defended our country in the war, and so we show that you can be a Catholic and a good citizen, and a good citizen and a good Catholic at the same time. So historically, Catholics should be very, very much aware of the blessings that the First Amendment of religious freedom have brought us, and we should seek to defend it for all people. And this week, we celebrate Religious Freedom Week, partly because of the feast days we celebrate during this week. Religious Freedom Week began with the feast of St. Thomas More and St. John Fisher, two martyrs, one a layman, one a bishop, who were martyred because of the despotism of the tyranny of King Henry VIII, who was trying to deny them the religious freedom of practicing their Catholic faith and remaining loyal to the Holy Father. Later on this week, we celebrate the Feast of the First Martyrs of Rome. And of course, Religious Freedom Week ends with the celebration of Saints Peter and Paul, two early martyrs of our faith in Rome. Peter, the successor, the first first pope, if you will, and Paul, the great apostle to the Gentiles. But also today is the feast of the Nativity of John the Baptist. And lest we forget, John the Baptist was martyred because of his witness to the truth about marriage. What he was saying about marriage got King Henry's wife, if you will, in quotes, angry at him, and that's why he lost his head. So that this week gives us a lot to reflect upon prayerfully about religious freedom, and to understand that this is not just about a secular argument, but it's something very dear to our faith. Earlier during last week, I think it was, the Supreme Court made a decision that we don't agree with, because we think that in redefining the definition of sex, it's going to present some religious freedom issues, some conscience issues in the future. There's going to be a lot of unintended consequences, even though we would agree that nobody should be unjustly discriminated against because of their sexual orientation.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for your time today. Archbishop Thomas G. Wenski of the Archdiocese of Miami and acting chairman of the USCCB Committee for Religious Liberty. Thank you again.
Thank you.